Hi everybody, how are you? I've missed my lives. Welcome to Restaurant Live, and we have Atul Kochhar coming on in a second. When he joins, I can't wait to speak to him, and I've got a lot of questions for Atul because he's also agreed to be one of my amazing judges for Young Chef, Young Waiter, and we're going to talk about that as well as we go along. So Atul, when you're there, don't forget to press that little live button, and then you can join. How has everyone been? Hope you've all been well. The restaurants have opened. I don't know how they're all going, so I'm going to check with Atul in a minute how his are going. Yes, it's still strange out there. I've had some lovely reports of restaurants being very busy, and then I've had some other reports. Of course, we've had that silliness with the people booking tables and not going. So please, that's been a tough one for the guys. But let's see where you are, Atul. Let me just press this because I can try and find out if you're on. No, you're not, so hopefully you will get all this sorted out. This is always my nervy bit until they actually do something else, something went wrong there. All on my own here at the moment, waiting for Atul to come on. He will be there. He's got everything ready. He's actually in his restaurant in Amersham at the moment, and I've got some wonderful questions to ask him about all of his restaurants and restaurants. Hi, Freddy's Kitchen, wherever you are, Freddy's Kitchen, hi. I've got some really good questions to ask him about his restaurants and his past, of course, because he's a Michelin star Indian chef, and I've got some great career questions to ask him, and I'm keeping my glasses on, and I'm sort of sitting here with and now I've got a Chihuahua starting to go. Oh, now I've got a Chihuahua going. So, good morning from Chicago. Hi, Gary from Chicago. Welcome. My wife has just popped in, and I might just ask her to double check because I haven't got Atul on at the moment.
Hey Gary. Right. Let's just go here.
Let's have a quick look.
Who are we waiting for?
We're waiting for Atul.
Atul's not here yet. Flo's on there. Flo, I was just talking about you on my live, Flo.
And Louis. Hi, Louis.
Okay,
I've got my champagne, Louis. I've got my Frey. I'm going to see you tomorrow, I believe, as well. I can of course chat along here. I can talk for hours about hospitality and cooking. I hope you've all been enjoying the cooking. We hit this weekend, or I'll have a little slip of this actually. Hi Jane. Here he is. Here he is. Here's Chef Atul. Okay. Do I press that?
Yep, press that. Look there, view.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I tell you what, they all do it. They all. Are you?
How are you guys doing? Hi Robert. How are you?
Atul, how are you?
I'm very good, sir. I'm so sorry I took a little time. I was just doing my makeup.
Don't worry. You're in Amersham. I know the signal in Amersham is like the signal in other places. It's not brilliant sometimes. But are you all right? You've got me there, yeah?
I got you
there.
Can you hear me? No problem. Clear, loud and clear.
Good. And okay, I've got some great questions for you. How are you, first of all?
I'm very good, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for asking. Hope you're well too.
I'm very well. Now, you've got a bottle of this. I believe you've got it tucked away, but...
I'm so sorry. I couldn't bring it to work.
Well, I've got mine, so I'm not at work. I'm
Cheers.
at home still at the moment, but
I'll say cheers with the water.
So first of all, Atul, thanks so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on here in this little, we call it Restaurant Live. And we've had some amazing chefs, and it's just a pleasure to have you on. And one of the questions I'm going to come to is how you got into food. But you are in Amersham right now.
I am. I've got a restaurant here in Old Town on the High Street, within a hotel, the Crown Inn. The restaurant is called Hawkins.
Yeah. And you've also carry on.
I was just saying that it's slightly unusual for an Indian restaurant to be called Hawkins, but Sir William Hawkins was the first British person to land in India when one of the Mughal rulers, Jahangir, was ruling back in 1652. So when I was given this such a quintessential English town to open a restaurant in, I thought I have to find a Britishman who actually landed in India first, and hence I'm here. So I should use his name. So I found him and then used his name.
Well, that's fascinating, because actually one of my questions was, because I've got sort of Vasu and the others and some of the other great restaurants that we're going to talk about, and I thought Hawkins. Well, where did But now you've just told me one of the answers to the question. So you've just reopened. So now, have you opened in Marlow? Have you opened the Marlow one?
Yes, we have opened in Marlow. The second restaurant, Vasu, it has just opened at the moment because it's still under refurbishment. Right. So we have opened as a delivery service only, because kitchen was ready. I thought, let's start practicing. So I thought, okay, we are cooking food, so might as well give it to people to eat. After a week of giving free food to people, I thought, okay, now it's time to take money. So we started the delivery service.
Well, Marlow must be very happy. Look, Marlow is...
Sorry, Robert, I spoke over you. No, I was just saying that other than Marlow, I have a restaurant in Petswood near Bromley called Indian Essence. Okay,
and Vasu? Is that Mayfair?
Vasu is one in Marlow, which is open as a takeaway at the moment. And one in Mayfair is called Kanishka.
Oh, Kanishka, right. I'm getting all the restaurants, yeah. And have you opened, are they all open now?
They're all open, yes.
And so, and how are you seeing the difference between, let's say, say London Central and also Marlow and the towns outside of Marlow, because you're in beautiful locations are sort of just on the west of London.
So let's start with ones that are outside London. So the business is quite normal here. It's still not what we were at pre-COVID-19, but it's still okay. We are happy with the way we are, where we have landed ourselves into. But the one in London is bleeding, Robert, to be honest. We are doing 20-30% of what we normally would do.
Yeah.
So London is really tough one, and there's a lot less relief in London compared to outside London, because the landlords were really nice and sympathetic out here in outside London. But in London, you can't even get to his desk, to be honest. It's very difficult to reach them. But what we know is it's unlikely that we'll get any relief from them.
Right. It's really sad, Atul, because, you hear this a lot. Obviously, we have a Zoom call most Tuesdays. We're not doing one today, funnily enough, but we have a Zoom call with all of the mainly London-centric restaurants. And of course, London has been really hit because it's this massive tourism spot. It's obviously, if you like, almost not only the food capital of the UK, but pretty much food capital of the world now, with our diversity and our multicultural, fantastic restaurants that we have. And to go from this, from restaurants that were heaving and so busy and so exciting to this time that we're on now. I mean, it's so unforeseen, but also sad. Look, we do hope that things get going again, and people like you with your history, and incredible Indian food and the cuisine, you and different chefs from different locations and countries have created London to be this incredible capital. So, I mean, nothing I can do, but I just hope that it can get back soon. I can just be on the outside screaming and shouting and telling everyone to go to wonderful restaurants. But, I haven't been to London myself yet. I'm going tomorrow for the first time since I'm going to a tiny little drinks that we've put on, but everything is so aware of COVID and what we're doing. But it's the first time I've been since March. You know,
My God.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
I think the rest of the people also have the same insecurity, to be honest, and I sympathize with it. I have no, I don't say that they are not doing it and they should do it. I'm not saying anything, because it's about the confidence. People have to feel confident to come out and be in the public places again and meet their friends and families. So I think not many people have able to muster the confidence, and the reasons are numerous, and I'm not going to lay them out. It's not for me. I'm neither a politician nor an economist. But just from my industry purposes, as hospitality industry stands, we thrive when people are with us. We die when people are not there. So I think we need people to come out and help us. Sadly, otherwise, a lot of our businesses would die if people don't start coming out en masse.
no, absolutely. Look, I think that, and as you say, you've got the other side of the coin here, because you've got Marlow and you've got Amersham, and you've got, you know, these locations and venues which pretty much are, you say, not back to normal, but running at the capacity that you can actually achieve with social distancing, I would imagine.
That's right.
And I think that's pretty much countrywide. You know, I know from here, I live in Pangbourne. I don't live far from you, or I don't live far from Marlow. I think Henley is over those hills, and I could be with you in about 40 minutes, or less, no, way less than that, 25 minutes, I suppose. Marlow has become a sort of a food haven now, hasn't it? I mean, you think of Marlow, you've got Bray, Marlow, and all around. It's just amazing what's happened. And I did see, by the way, that you are also going to be doing is it the pub in the park, or the pub festival that Tom Kerridge created?
Garden party pub in the park.
And that's going to happen in September.
Yes. So three weeks in September. The first week we are in Henley. Second week of September we are in St. Albans, and in third week we are in Tunbridge Wells.
That's fantastic. And how many are these locally, or you're going to do all three? Are you?
I'm doing all three, yes.
But because each region will have local venues, will they?
That's what I'm planning to do. So in Marlow, I will represent my restaurants Vasu and Sindhu. In St. Albans, I will represent Hawkins. And in Tunbridge Wells, I will represent Indian Essence.
Yeah. Amazing. So I want to talk about Young Chef, Young Waiter, which we're going to come on to now. And then I want to talk about your amazing life. I had Cyrus Todiwala on about
my hero.
I love him. About 2.5-3 weeks ago, I asked him about his career, how he found food, where it came from. And there were things that, you know, I get this time to speak to you guys. I never get this time to speak to chefs like yourself, who I've known for years and years and years and years and years, but finally we have time to speak. And I spoke to Cyrus about his history, where it came from, and his food and his love, and of course, once you get Cyrus on that role, you know, you could be here till this time tomorrow.
I know what you mean.
And I made the other day. I do my own cooking, and it's going out today. It was masala eggs. Now, I had no idea that masala eggs were not something to do with a masala sauce or masala or something, you know. But of course, it doesn't mean that at all. So later on, you'll see my masala eggs coming out exactly like Mrs. Todiwala did. So they'll be coming out a bit later.
Fantastic.
But I'm really, really pleased to have both you, Cyrus, and we'll have some other fantastic, we'll call it South Asian chefs at the moment, because we want to incorporate that whole region of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and Nepal I've got all the right countries now.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you're involved in Young Chef, Young Waiter. I'm so excited to have this element, this South Asian element in here now within the UK. It's been a dream and a goal and a passion of mine. And to do that, oh, love you, Chef. This is not, I hope that's you, it's not me. And I'm just really pleased that you have come on board as a judge and be part of this to promote the young talent that's out there in the South Asian restaurants that are abundant in this country, you know.
Rob, thank you for having me. Actually, I'm really honored. I've always been passionate about hospitality industry, and I'll tell you my story in a minute. But I take very keen interest in all the young people who join my business as apprentices or commies, because if we don't nurture them, if we don't look after them, if we don't infuse the confidence in them, they will all go away. And over the years, I'm not going to blame anyone, but we gathered a reputation of being a very harsh industry. Yeah. I have always been very polite and soft-spoken in my kitchens.
I just want you to just see, as I don't want to lose these messages when they come up. Chefs such as Atul and Samir have really influenced me to one day run my own place. Thank you, Atul. Isn't that lovely? It's exactly what we're talking about.
That's sweet. Very sweet. Very sweet. So I'm really hugely passionate about youngsters joining the industry, because we have to hand over the baton to them one day. And if we don't have them, who will we hand over the baton to? So it's in our interest that the hospitality continues to thrive and do well in this world, in this country. And we are known for British hospitality now. You know, there was a time when London was touted to be the better place than New York and Paris. And I still believe that we are, to be honest. And I think we should continue the streak and not lose that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I work very closely, as you know, with Michelin in the Michelin Revelation, and obviously things have all been moved. You know, there was all the dates for this. Please, Chef, say hello to. Well, I can't. You can pronounce that word.
Kshitij. His name's Kshitij.
Oh, right.
Say hello to Kshitij.
and you know, London, the UK, our whole food, the transformation of food offering, but not just the food offering, not just the chefs, the service, and the service is key, as you know. That there is Absolutely. No point you producing your fantastic food if you don't have the right team out there. And I think the biggest transformation over the last few years, a big hug to two nice gentlemen. Thank you very much. Paolo, hi.
Paolo.
Has been the improvement and the knowledge of our service team. And you know yourself how much training goes into your let's call it the front of house, but the team, the service team at the front there now, and how much they would go. And this is not like it used to be, a bit of a part-time job. This is a you are a professional waiter and a professional chef.
Absolutely.
And so these young professionals are sitting out there, and I think whereas we have to inspire and encourage them to come into the UK as a whole, I think also it's really important I use the South Asian term, as I call it, to make sure that they come into that you get the families still. It's sort of gone full circle, hasn't it, Atul? Where you know, years and years and years ago, the curry houses and everything. Now to bring those youngsters in from those families who have made great businesses here in this country, but a lot of the youngsters of those families from the 60s and the 70s or whatever have now gone into law and have gone into accountancy and gone in. So actually trying to get them involved, and you know, you'll see this, I'm sure, exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, there was a time, I would say about 10 years ago, there was a huge movement And I think it was led by Cobra Beer to save the curry houses. And the attempt was to entice the youngsters to stay in the mom and pop's business. A lot of them were kind of fading away. If they were not going for engineering, medical, or being a trader in the city, they were going into the retail business and just doing small jobs, which may or may not take them anywhere. Whereas they had this fantastic businesses at home, which mom and dad were running and getting older and retiring, because there was nobody to take over from them. They were closing down. So I started taking huge interest with Cyrus, and we started training a lot of them into our kitchens and in our restaurants to make them better personal. And a lot of them actually went back, to be honest. And I feel very proud when I see a lot of those shops still open and being run very, very well. One of the gentlemen who I quite liked him and kind of would say felt like I had a great connection with him, became kind of family to me and little brother, was Akhtar Islam from Birmingham.
Right.
And Akhtar was had just joined Lasan as a young chef when I befriended him, and we kept in touch and we spoke. We cooked together several times. And last year, when Akhtar became the first Bangladeshi chef to get a Michelin star, I was over the moon. I was over the moon. I was so happy for him. It was pretty much like my own personal achievement when he got the star, and I feel very proud of him.
Yeah.
So there are many more talented people like him who can actually come forward and learn from each other. I learned from somebody, right? So I didn't come with Michelin star training into this country. I came here and I befriended Chef Elberu and Jean-Christophe Novelli. I was very scared of Chef Marco Piavite, though he was very polite and nice to me, but I was very scared to get into his kitchen for some reason. But I went to Chef Nico's kitchen several times, and I picked up a lot of things from them, that how ropes are done in this world. And that taught me a lot. And perhaps that propelled me to be a first Michelin star chef in this country, first Indian Michelin star chef. But the quest has always been to train more and more. And I can say that very proudly, that every Michelin star Indian restaurant in this country you look at, there will be horses from my stable. So, they have gone from my kitchen, and I feel very proud about it.
Yeah. And I think, that this new element, if you like, and I'm not saying it's new about about promoting the Indian and South Asian cuisine, and that covers a massive, group of locations and countries. But it's just having you, having Cyrus, having Enam Ali, having these people there who can really promote to that community.
Yep.
And we're doing exactly the same, with Ching. I've got Ken Holm, I've got Ching on. I've got some amazing people from the Chinese and Southeast Asian communities. And for me now, we are now covering, the majority of restaurants in the UK. We're not covering all, because I can't go around it everywhere, but we are covering pretty much everybody. And that doesn't mean to say that you've got to be, if you are an English chef or an Italian chef or a Polish chef, or whatever you are, working and serving and being creative in South Asian restaurants, whether they're Indian or Bangladeshi or whatever, you can enter, because my winning chef was a guy called Rich Henderson, but my winning waiter was Italian. So of course, in the competition, you will have all different people from all different countries working at all different restaurants. So our route, in the route that we're going on, is the style of food that we want from there and the style of service that we want from there. And that competition will be slightly different. But everyone out there right now, in any of those communities, on the website, which will be happening really soon, we'll have, and we're doing it right now, so we'll have the South Asian bit, we'll also have the Chinese bit, and we'll also have our UK bit, if you like.
Which is fantastic.
Which covers the sort of European. So I'm really, really, really excited about it. And again, I can't thank you enough for being part of that. So now I want to just go to my next bit, which is which is really the love of food and how you got there and how you ended up at the venues that you were, Benares and Tamarind, etc., etc. You know, so where, without going right back to where Sarah's went, but where did you start here, or where did you start from? Where? Tell me a bit
So
about that.
my family is a foodie family, Rob. So my grandfather, when British was still ruling India, was a baker, and my dad, self-taught chef, and he started his own small catering company. So I grew up looking at my granddad and my father doing their thing and being very creative in their craft, and that came through. And when in my time, when I was leaving college, going for college and the higher studies, everybody was packing their bags to go to engineering and medical colleges those days. And when I said, no, I'm going to hotel school, everybody laughed at me. They say, oh, are you going to go and clean cup plates all your life, or going to peel onions? So I said, whatever it will be, I'll brace it. And this is what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. My parents were totally with me, and they said, you should follow your own dream. And it's good that you want to do this. Go ahead. So I landed there. So my family comes from North India, and I was born in East India. You know how vast country it is. So my parents helped me to choose a college in South India so that I can go to a different part of the country and learn my country better. And that was the biggest lesson my parents could give me, to be honest. I landed in Chennai. That time it was called Madras. I didn't speak the language. They speak Tamil. I came from Punjabi speaking background, plus lived in Hindi speaking town. Landed up in a place where I had no idea what language they were talking to me. It was like being in a foreign country. It took some time, but I got my grips, and I started loving that place. I explored entire South India for those 3 years. And I returned to work for Oberoi Group of Hotels. I went to train with them and became sous chef. And then I got headhunted to come to London to open a restaurant called Tamarind. So I was first head chef at Tamarind, and
Wow.
I started cooking there. So once I started cooking, it took about 2.5 years later, my dad came to visit me and asked me to cook a 3-course meal for him. So I said, yeah, sure, Dad, sit down, and cooked him I thought it was a great meal, but I could see my old man wasn't very happy. And then my dad never used to scream and shout on us. He used to say, his way of telling off was, let's go for a walk. So after lunch service, we went for a walk to Hyde Park, and I really got good telling off from him. He said, you know, his message was very clear. He said, look, you are from North Indian family, and you were born in East India. We sent you to South India to understand your country better. So you saw how things moved around and how things were adopted and adapted across the country. Now you've come to the UK, and I see things like a fish called pomfret, another fish called kingfish. Then I see a vegetable called okra. Tell me which part of United Kingdom they have these things from. So you have come all the way here to cook something that is flown in. You have not adapted this country. You're not here to be for a long time. You're not in love with this place. What's the point cooking here? Pack your bags and come home. So I was really ashamed. I got the message very loud and clear. And that's the time I met Chef Alberu and started going to their kitchens and to several other chefs. I connected with my suppliers who, before that, I never used to talk to anyone. I would just order on phone and get my supplies next day. But now I made an effort to connect to everyone. I went to the butcher who supplied us. That time it was Allen's of Mayfair, I think. So they took me in for about a month and taught me all the ropes, that how they receive the meat, how they cut it, different joints, what you keep, what you don't keep, what can you mince, what can you stew with. Theoretically, I knew it, but I had never seen the way they taught me. And then I went to Scotland to get the experience of how the scallops are kind of hand-dyed scallops, how they are caught, how they are brought back. That was a scary experience, but I got through that. I learned and I saw how things are done. Went on a small dinghy boat to North Sea, and I was sick many times. I wouldn't tell you more about it. But I learned that what we have, how rich this country was in terms of its produce. Worked in different farms to learn. And then about a year later, my cooking started changing, and I I kind of never looked back, to be honest. And then 2 years later, I landed up with the Michelin star. So I called my dad. I said, I got a Michelin star. He said, what is that? He had no clue what it meant. And then when I explained him what it was, he was quite happy. And he said, by the way, there is the same name company here in India, and they are selling tires. I said, yeah, Dad, it's the same company. So he said, he said, don't worry about them. You just carry on with your cooking. You found your love, and this is what I wanted. I'm very proud of you. Well done. So
amazing. I love the story. And actually, when you think about it, what year? That's a few years ago when you were at Tamarin and that got that first Michelin star.
I got it in 2001, and my father's visit to England was in 98.
So if you take that 20-year period, because we always talk about how the food has changed so much over 20 years, there were some wonderful messages kept coming up. I wasn't going to stop you. There was one message, you can see this. You might have to, somebody said, if you were starting a restaurant, what would you do to start with? Well, I'm not quite sure. You can come back to that in a second. But the story of the produce, the story of embracing your culture with produce from here, like taking scallops, from Scotland, and putting your style on it, has been, I think, one of the turning points for a lot of our cuisine in this country, which is where you've taken something, you've adapted it, you've changed it. It's still a scallop. It's still going to be beautiful, but it has this incredible your flavors from your country, from that, you're putting your effort into it. And and I can tell you this, Atul, I have been cooking through lockdown. I've been doing my own cooking.
I've seen some of the shows.
And I have, and they have been everything from lobster thermidor to sausage rolls and all in between. And I just did my 100th video in 100 days. And
congratulations.
Yeah, it comes out on Friday, Saturday. It's one of my, I've tell you, it's beef Wellington. I've wanted to do it. Everyone's asked me to do it for so long. And I did it and we've done it over 2 days. It's quite a long process if you do it correctly. But anyway, that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was that I found my love for produce. And because I have been doing what I've been doing for so long, and I've been coming to your restaurants and Cyrus's restaurants and everybody's restaurants, and I run in and run out and go and see Jason. This time I have with all of you, hello from Hong Kong, somebody's from Hong Kong, hi, how are you?
Yeah, hi.
Has been brilliant to listen to you, all of you, Jason Atherton, Tom Aitkins, Claude Bosey, Claire Smith. It's been an absolute pleasure for me to have you all on this restaurant live. We've got Matt Tebbert, I've got Ainsley coming on next week. We've got all kinds of fantastic people. And I've got Thomas Keller coming on as well.
Fantastic. Wow.
I can't wait. And he's a great friend of mine. I can't wait. But, and I get excited because I'm getting my fix. I don't actually have to go out and get my fix. But the bit that I've learned, the bit that I've got is the produce, because I cooked when I was 24. I ran 3 restaurants. I started my own restaurants. And I was cooking to pay the mortgage, but I was very proud of what I was doing, but it was rush. Finally, I've had time to go to the little farm shops up the road, and I've had a look at the tomatoes and I've had a look at the carrots, and I've fallen in love with food again. And I've fallen in love with the texture and the smell and the quality, everything about it.
Beautiful. So good.
And so whether it's been a sausage roll with great red onions in it, etc., or whether it's been something else, just for me, it's been the most enjoyable experience I could have imagined through the last 100 days, So I now understand more about, and it's been very good for me. I understand chefs at your level, at Michelin star level, and what you've achieved, how important it is. And your father understood that when he said, well, hang on, if you want to bring all the Indian dishes over here, that's fine. But you should be embracing the produce you have around you.
True.
And I think that's, and somebody said, Robert, you should visit Pakistan. I would love to visit Pakistan. It would be the most amazing culinary experience. I would love to. Thank you. Whoever you are.
I'll come with you.
We can all go. We'll do a TV program in Pakistan. But I get it. And I think, you know, your father got that in 2001 or two, whenever it was, he visited you to change that. And now what we've seen is, and I'm doing, sorry, I'm going on here. This is your, but you now see how so important, wherever you are in the country, embrace your local produce, embrace
Absolutely.
your honey, your meats and your sausages or whatever it is around you that you're getting, or whether it's the scallops. Obviously you can't get scallops, you know, so you need to go to the nearest point to get those, all the best. But it's a fantastic story. So after Tamarind, was that Benares? When did Benares come?
So I left Tamarind end of 2002, and that it was a job. So I asked the owners that I have ambition to set up my own restaurant, and would it be okay? I had a great relation with them, so I wanted to remain connected to them because they were like family to me. They were quite happy, and they blessed me. They said, "Yeah, please carry on, and if you've found something, we are very happy for you." And I'd found an investment group who were willing to give the seed money to open the restaurant, which I did. And the initial thought, Robert, was, of course, you know, you were a Michelin star chef by then, and it's very easy to get big-headed and think you want to achieve the Michelin star, which was always the ambition, to get to that excellent level again. But I had a chat with my father, and he said, make sure you keep your head on your shoulders. And first few years of business are always tough. Don't lose your heart. Give everything you got, and you will get what you want. So I started, and first 3 years were tough, is understatement. They were like hell. It was really beyond tough, to be honest. Money ran out. We had not finished the building properly. All those sorts of problems I had. My investor said, sorry, I'm not going to give you any more money. You manage with whatever you have. So I had to bring a friend in from Dublin to support me, to give me more money. I remortgaged my house to bring more money to the business. Otherwise, we would have gone by then. So it was year 2. And in year 3, I could see the green shoots. But by year 4, Robert, I started flying, and I got my star back.
You did.
And, you know, so first 3 years, I didn't worry. Obviously, I wanted star every year, no doubt. But I wanted business to survive. So I learned a very big lesson that things can get tough. You may have to adjust to the situations that time. Michelin star demands very big commitment, and you need to stay true to it. And it's a financial commitment as well, to be honest. And sometimes you may not be able to fulfill it, but don't get disheartened. You will come back where you want to be. But see yourself through that tough financial period first, because if restaurant is not there, the Michelin star will mean nothing. So, that's the path I followed. And I'm quite pleased that I heard my father loud and clear. And I'm doing exactly the same thing at Kanishka at the moment. I'm doing the tough part now because money was scarce when we started this restaurant. And I'm sure, you know, one day we'll achieve what we want to achieve.
Yeah. Well, when did you? So Tamarind. What were your years at Tamarind? What were your years at Benares? I used to come to Benares.
94 to 2002, Tamarind. 2003 to 2018 at Benares.
Yeah, that's right.
And
so I used to come in there with Paresh, who I think almost lived next door. I think he lived in Benares most of the time.
Paresh Raja.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great man.
I miss him. Of course, I miss him because we haven't been to London. We haven't seen him. Whether he's working from home, I'm sure he is. But we went in there. He opened some of this incredible wine. We sat in your private room there, and the wine he opened was Arnaud's wine. Do you know what I'm talking? Anyway, we're starting on a private conversation here. But anyway,
no idea which one. But he has some amazing collection of wine himself.
Yeah. And we had some of those beautiful prawns that you did. I mean, I have them every time I go. You know, like whenever you go to your local, whether you go to your local curry house or whether you go to your restaurant, whatever it may be, and I happen to come to your restaurant, and every time I had those, whatever prawns they were just enormous, and I mean, they were stunning. So there's loads of questions coming on here. With Harsh Joshi, was he the manager? Was he
Yeah,
he
so
the
when I
manager?
started Banaras, he was my assistant restaurant manager, and later he became the manager of the restaurant. And then he went on
Right.
to open a restaurant for me in Dubai. Now he has returned, and he's back in London now.
Great, great, great. And
Great guy,
Kanisha,
good guy.
beautiful. Yeah, somebody just saying. And
You got to come to
here?
Kanishka, Rob, soon.
Well, I need to come. I can come around the corner here. With this. You're not far away. I'm going to be coming to Marlow pretty soon. Now,
Anytime.
I tell you something else.
Come to Marlow anytime.
I tell you something else.
That'll be great.
I will. But so do you travel? I think you live to sort of the outskirts of London. Do you travel in and out daily, or do you stay in Marlow when you do these?
No, I travel daily. I live in a place called Isleworth near Twickenham.
Yeah.
So it's about 20
so
miles out from me, but no, it takes about half an hour through M4.
Yeah. No, that's for you. It's great. That's a great location. Yeah. So I'm doing something else as well, which I'd like you to be. I'd like you to do. It's very, very simple. We're doing it with the World Avocado Organization, and it's for the NHS. And it's a lovely, simple thing we're going to do through August. And that is, I want as many chefs as I can to produce their avocado dish. And their avocado dish is, and you just film it or take a picture, and it'll all go online. It's a great social media thing that we're doing with the World Avocado Organization, along with Restaurant Association and UKH. And the winning, not by me, I'm not judging, it'll be in the US, whatever one they decide wins, the winning dish, or the winning chef, if you like, gets a pallet of avocados, which is about 2,500 avocados.
Oh my God!
There, it's all right. You haven't got to the restaurant. You send them to your NHS trusts or the hospitals that you'd like.
Oh,
to
fantastic! Oh, that's great.
I thought, what a lovely idea through this period. Is, we're all talking about nutrition and obesity. What better thing to give hospitals are, 500 avocados, 500, it's great, it's superfood, and it's a lovely fun one, and it's a nice, there's Ching. Hi, Ching. Ching's on as well.
Hey.
Ching. So Ching is heading up the judging. Ching is heading up our judging, of course, for the Chinese, and there we are. Some amazing idea. Thank you. Lots of lovely comments. Thank you, Ching. Who's looking well? Is that me or both of us? I presume it's both of us.
I think it's your distinguished figure, Robert. You look so smart with your beard and everything. I've always admired you.
Well, yeah, it hides everything else. So I'd love you to do that, Atul. Anyway, I'd love you to do that.
I would love to do that, Robert. Thank you.
If you would,
count me in. Is there a deadline on that?
Of course, thank you. Pardon?
Is there a deadline by when I have to finish that?
It's through August. You're going to do it through August,
okay.
And it'll all go beautifully on your social media and on their social media. It's very simple. You just produce your wonderful dish, and Ching will do one. I'm sure she'll do one, and we'll get Cyrus, and we get all of the guys to do one. And it's just lovely because it's 2,500 avocados, and it's fun.
Given to the trust, which will be great.
I just like that. Yeah. Look, it's absolutely lovely. I could talk to you for hours.
Thank you, Robert.
The stories and your story is amazing, of course. And you've now got, so how many restaurants have you actually got? You're in the Complete Angler, aren't you?
I'm in Complete Angler, and then across the river in the town, I have Vasu, which will hopefully open by end of September, early October. And then Bromley and Emersham. So in total, I got 5 restaurants, Robert. And we, from my investment group in Kanishka, we will open a restaurant called Mathura next year in Westminster. So
Wow.
that's a big one.
Amazing.
It's about 5,500 square feet space. Beautiful. It used to be an old fire station, and we acquired it last year. So it's still being refurbished. So we'll have it next year.
Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. Well, there is another very famous firehouse restaurant as well, actually, of course.
The Chiltern Firehouse.
With the Chiltern Firehouse, yeah.
That's a beautiful restaurant. I love that. Love that restaurant.
Love it. I love it. And Nuno is
and amazing. He's an artist.
Thank you, Ching. Thanks so much, and thanks for your message. So sweet. Nuno Mendes. I had lunch with him at Ollie de Boos at Hyde, and he's a guy that you can just listen to, you know. I'd love to get him. Actually, I must contact him now. Now you just made me think about it. But he's a guy that you listen to and listen to. So creative, so unique. I would love to. I thought about him, and I thought he would be brilliant on an island somewhere in the middle of somewhere with an airport, and it would just be, you'd fly anywhere to go to his sort of style, wouldn't you? It's that sort of, he's that magnetic in his character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I've done it. Look, it's amazing. I'm really so pleased to have you on. It's also,
thank you, Rob.
You have all these incredible restaurants. I wish you well. Look after the team. Enter some of your young chefs, of course, and young waiters.
Will.
And I look forward to coming to see you really soon. There was something
Look forward to Robert.
And I can't remember what it was.
Another chat then.
So Atul, thank you so much for your time.
Take care.
I wish you well, and I'll see you very soon.
See you soon, Rob. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.